All right, we're now joined by Danica Patrick, driver of the number 10 GoDaddy Chevrolet. Danica, this is your first time out here in a Cup car. You got one practice under your belt. Tell us about how you feel about this weekend.
Well, I had hoped that being here before would have made it a little bit better for me out there, but it didn't. So, I don't know. The car just doesn't feel very good. It just feels like it's all over the place. It's loose, it's tight, it's loose, it's tight. It just doesn't feel very settled. So, I feel like we just have a lot of work to do. I think that, you know, it's going to be kind of a different story when it comes to race time because the rear tires just lose so much grip. So between that and fuel saving, I think that, you know, it's going to be a fair amount different than just turning a fast lap. So, you know, got to keep that in mind. But we're just struggling, trying to find, you know, get a balance on the car that just feels comfortable to drive, to be honest. What
do you think of the new qualifying format for tomorrow?
Well, it's not new to me. It's we ran it in the Nationwide Series, and I don't really know any different in NASCAR. It's been the only way that I've qualified on road courses, so I suppose it's more of the same for me. That's a positive. But it is nice to have more than one lap, just because it's when you're pushing these cars, things are bound to bounce around and move. So it's nice to have a couple laps as an option to get your fastest.
All right, we'll open up for questions. If you state your name and affiliation, we'll get a wireless mic to you. We'll start with Jeff.
Jeff Gluck from USA Today. I'm kind of wondering, I assume that at a road course it's so much rhythm-based, and so you have it in your head from all the IndyCar races here, you know, here's my mark here, here's my mark here. Is it tougher at a place like this than at an oval to adjust your mindset or teach your brain new, I guess, braking points or whatever you do to get around here?
I think that that's a good observation, but I think that it's an observation overall for all tracks that I've been to in an IndyCar and then come in a stock car. I think that just as much as it hurts to, you know, have different markers for open wheel, it helps to just know where the track's going. So yes, it's probably more of a detriment just to have different marks, but it's not, it kind of balances out with at least knowing the track. So, I mean, I kept going through turn 3 and 3A and thinking to myself that, is it because I'm doing it like I did in IndyCar that I'm terrible through here and I can't get the car to turn? You know, I was thinking that to myself. So, but overall, it's nice to just know where you're going.
Holly?
Holly Kane, NASCAR.com. Danica, how much of a bump do you get from last week? And obviously, that has to feel good. How much do you get from that?
You know, I have to say that I feel like over the last 4 or 5 or so weeks, really since Charlotte, I felt like we have been, you know, in a position to get those kinds of finishes if things went our way, but they didn't. So I think that overall, I felt like we were all thinking it was kind of overdue from where we had been speed-wise and the potential that we had in other races. So you know, from the month before. So, but it's just nice. It's just, honestly, it's a bit of a relief to just get something of a result finally. So I guess my words afterwards were, I felt like we should have had a few of those by now, but it took a while.
Claire?
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. Hi. I know that, you know, you've raced here in another form of racing, but the restarts are so crazy here. Even for the drivers that do this all the time, they're like, people take advantage of the restarts here even more. For you coming in, getting used to that, what is it like? What do you expect? What has Tony or anyone told you to expect on the restarts here?
We haven't talked about it, but I suppose it's going to be kind of like an even easier to bump scenario, but just as chaotic, I feel, as like Pocono, where you go into one and it's just everybody everywhere. But you know, when you're going slower, it's just a lot easier to find yourself into the back end of other cars. Aerodynamics don't really play much of a part, so you don't have to worry about that. So it's going to be, you know, I think it's going to pay off overall probably to be on the inside so that you don't get pushed out or have somebody run into you. But on the other hand, the inside stops up, so you know, sometimes you get a lot of cars if you go around the outside where they can carry the momentum and there's somewhere to go, you know. With the outside, there's the outside and then there's the extra outside if you want to keep going. So on the inside, you're just stuck. So it's just you have to. I feel like I'm just going to get a feel for it over the first couple starts, and hope I'm in the right lane at the right time.
Jeff Owen, Sporting News. I know you said you struggled today in practice, but coming into a road course race, did you feel a little bit more confident based on the fact that you ran really well on them last year and you've had success?
Yeah.
That's
it.
Help?
I feel more comfortable.
Any questions upstairs?
Yes. Lee Spencer, Fox Sports. Danica, have you and Jacques put your whatever happened last year behind you guys yet?
I don't know. I saw him in the rookie meeting, and I was like, oh, hey. And that was about it. Hey. I don't, after the things that have happened, it's hard to have a lot of respect for somebody like that. So, I respect what he's done in his career, but, the way that he treats other drivers on the track, I can't. So, that's all there is to say.
Dustin Long, Motor Racing Network. Danica, with as well as you've run at the road courses last year, I know a lot of different things happen. Not that anything owes the driver anything, but do you feel like in a way that you're owed at least to get a good finish to some degree with all the it seems like road courses haven't been easy in the sense of getting the full result that maybe you felt like you deserved.
Yeah. Probably. That can happen that's happened, I feel like, on a lot of different tracks and just different categories of tracks. But I feel like it was just a little bit more obvious on the road courses because I was running that much better. So, and so much, weird things happen, getting taken out, hitting a shoe. These are all just, not good things. So, and they were all running in both times we're running the top five. One I was leading. So, I feel like it was just a little bit more obvious. It happens. I think that probably every driver can feel like they're owed something in different areas just based on their lack of luck. But you just have to keep plugging away. There's for every up there's a down, and it doesn't mean that it's going to come next. It just means that it'll come eventually, and so no, and especially being in Cup for the first time, I feel like it's just a matter of we just need to get to a place where the car is consistent and see what happens in the race. I think it's just going to be a lot of tire and fuel conservation, and we'll see how it all plays.
I know this is a different course, but how different is it in a Cup car on a road course compared to a nationwide car?
The difference from an Indy car to a Cup car on a road course is like night and day.
Nationwide car, from a nationwide car.
Oh, nationwide to Cup. It's hard for me to tell because I never drove this track in a nationwide car. But one of the things that is relatively obvious is just how difficult it is to keep the rear tires underneath you. I never thought it'd be so difficult, but it just seems to be such a huge issue, power down. It's going to play a part in the race for sure. It's going to play a part in who can find the most amount of rear grip and who can make the least amount of mistakes when it goes.
Any more upstairs?
No more.
Holly?
One more, Danica. I know each week you're obviously focused on the track where you are racing, but is there some part of you that knows we're coming up to Daytona here in a couple of weeks and looking forward to getting back there?
I think about Daytona, and I never mind going to speedways. I always find them fun. Obviously, being the Coke 0400, being a sponsor of mine, it's an even bigger event. But I'm also thinking about the fact that Harry Scott's invited people to his house in Hilton Head, and then I'm going to go there too, and that sounds really good. I feel like I'm actually going to get kind of like a weekend off, but I'm working. So that's my answer.
In the back here?
Fred Inglis, KTVU, local Fox affiliate. Hi, Danica.
Hi.
I just met a 61-year-old woman who said you've inspired her to be a driver.
Oh, dear.
Now, I'm
just
hoping,
on the road or on the racetrack?
I'm not sure, but I'm hoping that's not on the track. My point
Me too.
is
well, there's nothing wrong with it.
my point is, though, is that your star power has reached a wider demographic than maybe even you understand?
I do feel fortunate, I feel fortunate to have the different kind of demographics of fans out there. It's been something that I guess I've been a little bit familiar with just over the years. My sponsors look at that kind of stuff, so you start to understand who your fan base is. And just for me and learning who gets excited and who cheers for me, who's clapping, who wants autographs and things like that. So I know I'm very fortunate that it's a wide base from kids to 61-year-old women that are learning how to drive or race. I'm not sure. So that's very flattering. I hope she's safe. If she needs lessons to stay safe, I'll help her out.
Any more questions for Danica?